Hello friends, welcome to the channel IT Simplified. Hope you're having good time with your family and friends and taking care of yourself. By the topic, you know that what I'm going to discuss, and it might be a surprise for a lot of my subscribers because generally I have never made any video on spirituality or in religion in specific Hinduism. So if you are not interested in today's session or maybe today's video, and this is all my gonna be point of view. I'm trying to explore with you together. This is the time you want to maybe watch something else. But if you are interested in this and maybe are fascinated like me and want to explore this, I will say stick with me for the next 10 to 15 minutes, whatever time is going to take, because I have not any script in this one that, that's the way I'm going to keep the flow. But this is just, always intrigued me and fascinated me. So I'm going to talk about this, right? So, being born in a Hindu family and from an Indian background, there are a lot of things that our parents, our priest in Mandir used to say to us. And I was always sometimes confused and fascinated why they're asking us to do this specific thing. And I'm strongly of the opinion that India has been the powerhouse of knowledge, and they have uh, that's the central hub, I will say, from where the knowledge has evolved, and a lot of backing for that. And believe me, it is not that I'm from Indian subcontinent that I'm talking about this. I'm strongly believe that, and if you look at today's modern era, you'll find that that's why you will see a lot of Indians in different parts of the world, not only in India. They are top doctors, engineers, scientists, you name them, and they have excelled. There is some reason behind this, and I think the culture that has been passed from generation to generation, and we're talking about thousands of years of civilization. The way the history has been presented to us, I may or may not agree with a lot of things, but maybe that's some other discussion that, or maybe I can make another video depending upon how the response I get. As I said, that I've never made a video on these topic. My videos all related to compute, cloud, Azure, all those kind of stuff, right? You know that, all the subscribers. So let's stick to what I'm here to talk about. Uh, so the reason I thought of making this video is that, as I said, that growing up, this number was always brought up, and I'm talking about specifically 108. What is the significance of 108 in Hinduism? Why that is so important? Whether our parents or a priest in a mandir or in a temple, they used to ask us to chant, say a Mrityunjay mantra or a Gayatri mantra, which is one of the most sacred mantras in Hindu civilization, 108 times. There are 108 dance forms that we have in Indian civilization. There are like so much importance has been given to this number, and this has been always this burning question to me: why? Is there any significance, or this is just like any other number? So that is what I'm here to talk about. What is the significance of 108, and does it really matter? Why not 109? Why not 120 or 200? Why specifically 108? For example, you must have seen a lot of people in India. They are, doing japas or chanting mantras, and they have this mala in their hand, where or the beads of the mala, which they use to count how many times they are chanting the mantra, and it's also 108. So, what is the significance behind it? That is what the idea about today. I want to explore this and tell me your thoughts on this, right? Also, 108. So, as you know, that when we talk about this modern era, the way the location of any place we generally uh, depict or we want to find out, we talk about the latitude and the longitude, right? The sacred river in India, which is Ganges, it is the latitude 25 degree and longitude is 83 degree. And if you add this number, this also comes to 108, right? This is some of the things. Is there any relation behind this, or this is just a coincidence? So let's talk about that, right? as I said, that we're just going to explore. So a lot of emphasis was given in Indian civilization about the celestial body, anything which impacts our human body or life. A lot of research has been done on that. And I'm talking about not 1500, 2000 years, I'm talking about 10,000 plus years. The modern historians, they have not dug or have not done excavation, I would say, to find out actually the real truth. A lot of truth has been distorted because a lot of invasion, because I'll just give you one simple example. Uh, you see, in Indian civilization or any Indian ritual, I will say, anything that you want to do, uh, the basic thing is that you start with pacifying the 9 planets. And uh, because it has so much impact on human body, human life, and in general on the earth, we start with pacifying or worshipping these 9 planets, or what you call the Navgraha Puja. Nav means 9, Graha means planet, because I see sometime right now in the book, sometimes they talk about the Pluto is a planet or not, right? Sometimes they bring it, they say that yes, it's a planet. Sometimes they say it's not a planet. But this has been done for thousands of years in India. How these people they know that there are 9 planets if they didn't have the gadgets or the technology to measure the distance, or even just know about the solar system that we have. If you go to a remotest village in India and maybe you talk to an old lady who might not have a formal education, and if you talk to them about, say, planets and all that, it's a very common thing that they know about. Even they have not gone through, I will say, modern education, or not gone through the school, because this information has been passed from generation to generation. And something like this, significance of 108, which I'm going to talk about, this was also passed upon, but sometimes we don't know what is exactly the reasoning behind it, and we just take it for granted. And that's why I thought that, right, we'll discuss this today. So let's straight away dig into this. So as I said, that a lot of importance we're giving to celestial body, obviously, the solar system and the Earth. And let's talk about our Earth, right? And then we have the closest we have is a moon, and then we have sun, right? Sun is far bigger than Earth and moon, I will say, but it looks almost of the same size because of the distance that we have. And if you measure the distance between sun and Earth and divide this by diameter of sun, guess what the number is? 108. And I don't think so that anybody can deny that sun is the most important thing when we talk about energy or sustaining life on our planet. Without sun, there is no life. I think everybody will agree that. So that's 108 is the number, right? Let's talk about moon. Distance between Earth and moon divided by diameter of moon is, guess what? It's also 108. Is it a coincidence? Maybe, I don't know. But doesn't seems like, because the kind of knowledge we had, and it's all documented, right? It's not somebody's making up. This has been documented in Indian Vedas, in India's Upanishads, and by the way, there are 108, considered to be 108 Upanishads. So that's another thing. That's another way that 108 has been brought. So you see these 108. There seems to be a close relationship between 108 and sustaining life. Now we know that, and this is modern science prove that Earth is tilted at an angle, right? So it's at an angle, and the angle that we're talking about is around about 23.5. Modern science agrees to that. By the way, this was documented long time before in Indian books. in old Indian Vedas. So that's the tilt that Earth has, and the gravitational pull, the Earth and the Moon. Gravitational pull of Earth is far more bigger than the Moon, but this is the tilt. This is the reason that we have seasons on Earth because of this tilt and the gravitational pull of Moon. Now, this is very important for sustaining life, right? If you compare with some of the other planets, say, for example, Mercury and Venus, they don't have any moon. So there is no moon, so there is no season on it, right? So, first of all, you need to have a moon here, and obviously you need to have a sun, and it has to be at a specific distance. Is it just a coincidence that it's 108? Right? That's the number that we come up. And because of the gravitational pull of the moon, and because it is tilted, that's how the seasons are on Earth. One important thing, Mercury and Venus has explained that there is no moon, so there is no way that you can have seasons over there, and that's another reason you cannot have life on these planets, right? So, planet Earth is a special planet because of this reason. Now, as I talked about 108, what happens in case, if 108 is not a big deal, what happens if I bring this moon maybe closer to Earth or maybe further to Earth? What will happen? And we know that by today's modern science, how moon impacts the tide in the sea. Generally, on the full moon, we get high tides, right? Then we have the low tides, how it impacts, and also 70% of the human body is water. So what impact will have if I move moon maybe say 100 kilometers further or closer? I think that will be catastrophic. If I bring it closer, I think there will be tsunami on Earth because we know by modern science that's the way it is now. It affects, and I don't know what kind of impact it will have on human body. I think that will be catastrophic. That's why it's so important that it has to be at a specific distance, and this number is very important, 108, right? That's one thing. Other thing is we know how long it takes for Earth to revolve around the sun, right? It's 365 days. For moon to revolve around the Earth is 28 days. Now that's very important. And as I said, that 108 is related to life in big way. That's what I'm trying to explore here. For moon to revolve around Earth, it takes 28 days. And guess what? The menstrual cycle in women is after every 28 days. And we know that for sure that there is no life on Earth to sustain life, how important in women the menstrual cycle is. And a lot of research has been done over this, and you can go and check this out. But that's another thing, and obviously it has to be at a specific distance, for all these things to happen, and that's why you go back to write the 108 number. By the way, 108 is consist of, I would say, two numbers, which are another very sacred number, which is 9 and 12. So if you multiply 9 with 12, what you'll get 108, right? Maybe we'll do something more later on. But I hope you're getting the point. It takes 28 days. The menstrual cycle in a woman lasts for 28 days. And without that, there's no life. Women is also called Janani, right? There is no reproduction without this. So that's another very, very important thing. And you'll be surprised to know that, we have been sending missions to Mars, right, to explore life and everything. Mars, if you look at, it's two moons. Neptune has like n number of moons. Like, let's talk about Mars, because we have been sending a lot of missions trying to find life over there. Mars has 2 moons, but they are not at exactly the same distance or the perfect distance from Mars to sustain life over there as of right now, right? And because they're 2 moons, so they're pulling. It's the gravitational pull is not. So what is happening is, as I said, that in Earth case, the Earth is tilted at an angle of 23.5 degree, and it revolves around Sun at a tilt, and because the moon is pulling Earth, and that tilt is there, and that's why you have the seasons. And but in Mars case, what happens is that that gravitational pull is not there, so it's like not tilted in a way to sustain light. So basically, what happens is that, say for example, in Earth case, let's don't talk about the Mars right now. Let's talk about in Earth case, if that tilt is not there, right? Maybe say I'll push the moon further. We talk about bringing it closer, right? It will have tsunamis on Earth. The life will vanish. How about if I move it away? The gravitational pull obviously decrease, and this tilt will change. It is 23.5, which is perfect, though it changes, right, sometime. But on an average, it is 23.5. In case I push the moon further, you know what's going to happen? The way the Earth is tilted and rotates around the Earth, around Sun, it won't be able to do that, right? And this tilt is very important. If that tilt is not there, it will push the ice from the poles right in the middle, or maybe there's going to be desert on the equator, like something which is not. And this is, you can talk to the scientists, you can talk to physicists, right, who can talk about that, why this tilt is important. And this is all because of the sun, the moon. They are at a specific distance from each other. Especially when you talk about Hinduism, right? They say that there are 108 lines of energies, and they all meet at one central place called chakras. And these are all 108 lines of energies we are talking about. And that's where also 108, not only in Indian civilization or Hinduism to be specific, in Jainism, which is also again another branch of Hinduism, or Buddhism, 108 has been repeatedly used again and again. And I strongly believe that this has to do definitely with sustaining life on Earth. If this number was 120, this is pure science I'm talking about here, right? I'm not making this up. You can go and check this out. But what is interesting is this was documented in Indian books, in Indian Vedas, thousands and thousands of years ago. When was Pluto discovered? If I'm not mistaken, it was like maybe 100 years ago. A couple of 100 years ago, people used to thought, maybe in Western culture, that Earth is the center and everything rotates around that. How funny is this? This has been there in Indian, as I said that. I just give you one example that, if you go to a remotest village, these things are part and parcel of life. We just take it for granted, but maybe they're not able to articulate this. Maybe they're not able to explain. Because just remember that in India, and this is a human mentality, anything which is rich in knowledge or rich otherwise, people will come over there, uh, maybe with good intention or bad intention, but all the time they will try to take that knowledge. Sometimes they will destroy this. And India was invaded over and over again. A lot of literature, a lot of books were burned down, a lot of things were demolished. So a lot of knowledge has been passed on by word of mouth. And we take this, and this part of, for example, I'll just give you one example, right? Again, if you go to the remote, I'm just taking example of the remote villages, right, where we think of that there is no modern education or modern form of education. An old lady was there knows to use turmeric in food, what we call haldi. They drink milk mixed with turmeric. They know that there are medicinal effect in that. They might not be able to explain to this, right? But they know this is good for their body. And how they know that? And I'm not talking about 200, 300, 400,000, 2,000, 3,000 years ago. I'm talking about, you know, because there is no time limit when we talk about Indian culture. That's why even the word of Hindu, this was also coined by some of the people who came from other country, because the the Indian culture or Hinduism, what we understand today, was so spectacular that people from all over the world, they used to come and want to learn about it. And Indus Valley civilization, that we know that is is worldwide, but it's only 5,000 years ago, and before that we have a lot of history. But the people who used to live beside the banks of river Sindhu, what we call Indus, they started calling them Hindu. But Indian civilization is the only civilization after so much invasion is still intact, I will say, right? You name it, the Egyptian, the Mesopotamian civilization, the Mesopotamian, they were all demolished. The only civilization that is left is Indian civilization. And the reason being that, and this is again my thinking, and maybe I'm biased, because the way we understand religion as of today, that's not what Indian culture or Indian civilization, or let's put it, Hinduism is in that way. Because to be specific, we there is no one single god that we have. We consider plant a god. We consider an animal a god. For us, anything which is natural is a god to us. We need to protect it. There are no commandments, right? There is like, for example, in some of the other cultures, some of the other religions, there are commandments. There is no kind of commandments, right? You dictate, you build your own identity, right? That is what, and it is not that you just make it up. You need to prove it. It's all based on science, and that is what the rishis and the munis and these sadhus, I call them the scientists, because what they used to do, the main part was to be in a remote area, maybe in a forest. They used to work with nature. They used to make medicine. Somebody's into astronomy, astrology, like so much of broad. No, I know that I'm talking about a lot of stuff over here. It might be moving away from the topic here, but this is all pertains to, this is one very basic example of why 108 is so significant. I just gave you example by this. And if you think that this is just a mere coincidence, I'm not sure about it, but why 108? Why not some other number? So it's very interesting, right? That's why I thought maybe I'll share this with you. Uh, the importance of 108, which has been there, uh, you know, since the beginning, at least as far as I know, right? Our parents used to tell us, you go to a temple, 108 is very, very significant number, and I think that that's the reason why it is. Tell me your thoughts, what you think about it, right? That's my take on this. And as I said that I've never made a video on this topic. If you want me to make, maybe I will make, but I'm not an expert on this. This is all what I understand, and maybe doing a little bit of research. Some of the questions that came to my mind, I wanted to explore this. Hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.